You guys guess what this is? Yeah, that's urine. That's urine. I'm so excited about this funny little event between Andrew Norton Webber and Cole Haley. I haven't even listened to the audio. I don't really care. It's so hilarious, and I'm just excited that it gives me an opportunity to clear up a bunch of misnomers and false ideas about what everyone within the community or within the cult of the urine therapy cult are talking about. And I think this should help a lot of you out. And we're going to get into, if we look at the left side of the board here, we're going to get into what some of these words mean, what things actually are, and we'll try to figure out whether or not you should be drinking your urine. Or if it's just a diseased, strange cult of misinformational specialists and psyops and I don't know. I read some of the back and forth between people, and it was so amazing. Let's just start with the word cult. The word cult is where you get culture from. And if anybody's familiar with our favorite friend Terence McKenna, he would always say, culture is not your friend. And what he meant by this is cultures are everywhere. You make cultures in a laboratory, you make cultures to make wine and beer, and you make cultures to make cheese and whatever it might be. There's all sorts of cultures. There's a human culture, there's animal cultures, there's individualized cultures, smaller settings of cultures. And what he was really saying was culture as a whole, what you're seeing expressed through the media, is probably not there to make you better at anything. It's there to direct you to what they want. And that's what we have to key in here. It's culture in general, and what a cult is it's to go and do something that somebody else is providing you, to buy into what they're selling. Now, urine therapy cannot be a cult because you're not drinking somebody else's piss. The idea is not self-worship, because the word is not, we're not getting on a ship of war for self, although Cole might have done that now that he has jumped into I assume it seems to be that he takes the Bible literally, and there's some gentleman that was thrown up on a cross thousands of years ago. Now, I don't know that he knows that he believes this. It just seems to be. But it's, regardless of what he believes, is irrelevant to what we're trying to explain here. And so if someone believes that there was a guy thousands of years ago that was put up on a cross to take away your sins, well, that's the exoteric version of the Bible, and that's the cult version. There's so many different sects to the Bible. SECTS, and sex and violence. There's different sects to every religious teaching. And those are all cults when it's done in an exoteric way, meaning it's outside of you, that you are not the temple of God, and your imagination isn't any part of this game here. So this idea of what a cult is, and the urine therapy group is not a cult. It's a grouping of people coming together that have a similar interest in self-love, in self-advancement, in self-knowledge. This isn't asking you to go believe in something outside of yourself. It's asking you to believe in yourself, to have your own wisdom. Dome. You whiz, put it into your dome. Your wisdom. The knowledge that you get, to have knowledge of self-substantiation. Now, there's an idea that we live in a dualistic world, and he was speaking of, in the little bit that I was speaking of Cole here, that he was talking about the dark forces or the dark arts. And the dark force and the dark arts have everything to do with the cave of creation and Eve. This is why the Eve is evening. It's all about the darkness. And you can get into even who the Moors are, and and black magicians, even literally black magicians, not even people that put a black robe on, although if you go to a church, I wonder what they're wearing. Yeah, the black robes, because they're black magicians. That's why you sit and they prey upon you, so you pray, and then you worship them, or you worship something, and then they stand at an altar because they're altering something, meaning altering your consciousness to what they want, and then they pass that tray around and you put the moonie in, because the moonie have everything to do with the evening and the dark arts. So we really need to get this together of this understanding of there is no duality. The dark and the light are part of the same system. And even the Eve and what hell is, even if take these people to hell. Hell is the word Heliopolis or Helios, and which means sun or soul. And as I explained before in another video, and I'll just highlight this guy in the middle, you can see beneath his feet is what you see as the hell, is where your heel is, and it's what heals you. And it's what earth is. You birth yourself upon the earth, and you get to create your soul through the sole of your foot. It's also called the soil that you put your feet on. It's the sole of your shoe. And your soul is created through putting your feet on hell. It's what heals you. It's what you grow your soul out of. And you're a single unit. You're not in duality. People like to believe in duality because they've been sold the cult of duality, which has everything to do with the exoteric version of the Bible and every other outside dualistic force that they were told existed. As in, oh, well, of course there's opposites. There's male and female. Well, you're wrong right there. The male and female are not opposites. They're complementary. They fit together. If they were opposite, they wouldn't fit. So everything in the world fits together as one holistic unit. Now, the original sin, meaning sine wave, meaning to split off of the center path of the tree, and when you eat of the tree of good and evil, of the knowledge of good and evil, it means that you use your mind or your imagination to believe something is good and something is bad. I was listening to this lecture the other day. It was on the Nag Hammadi. I think I spelled that wrong, but whatever. And they were talking about the eating of the fruit of good and evil and Sophia, and it was very clear what the point they were trying to get across was that it was their own perception of what is good and what is bad. Because you're sitting here in time and you think, there's this great story, I can kind of weave this in here for you. It's something that Ellen Watts tells very well, and it's an old Zen koan, and it's about this family, this farming family, and it's an old man, his son, and his son. So it's a grandfather, a father, and a son. And one day the son is out, and they only have a few horses, and he finds a wild horse. So he brings this wild horse home, and the father goes, "Oh my goodness, what a wonderful day! What a great day! That's good." And the grandfather says, "Good, bad, who knows?" The next day, as they're trying to break this horse, the kid, the youngest one, is trying to break the horse, trying to, get it to ride it. And the horse throws him off, and he breaks his back. And the father goes, "Oh my God, this is the worst day ever. This is bad. This is evil. This is a terrible day." And the grandfather says once again, "Good, bad, who knows?" A few days later, coming through the village is the army, and they're trying to find any able-bodied people to go fight the war. And this kid is obviously, he's got a broken back. He can't fight the war. So now the father says, "Oh, what a glorious day," because now they pass through town, they don't take his son. "Oh, this is what a glorious day." And the grandfather once again says, "Good, bad, who knows?" So we could keep going with that story, but I think you've caught what it is. And so the grandfather knew there was no such thing as good or evil. And it's this idea of what the fruit was. And the fruit was having your imagination. Now, if we get into who Neville Goddard is and what he says, and we could even get into Sevan Bomar here and what he says, and so many other people that have written great books on this, and this has to do with fasting and has to do with semen and the cerebral spinal fluid and even urine therapy. And it's that Jesus Christ is your imagination. Jesus Christ is Kundalini. Jesus Christ is the fish god. It's inside of you. And so, as Neville Goddard says, Jesus Christ is your imagination. And so if your imagination believes in good and evil, then you will have good and evil. You will have duality. But the truth is, everything is just what it is, and you get to pick what you'd like. So if you use your imagination in the right way, everything is what you need it to be. You're sitting there on earth with your 2 feet, Joachim and Boaz, firmly planted in the soil, connected to your soul, right? And you're a single pole. You're a single entity. You're not in dual nature. You're one single force in nature. And this even, I put flat earth up there because this gets into the idea of having a dual poled system. And I don't want to go too far with that one because I've done other talks on this. And it's really, this is maybe a little sidestep for some people, but I think it's very important, is that if you're living on a spinning ball and there's 2 poles on that ball, then you're living in a dualistic system. But if you're in a flat earth and you realize the North Pole is the only thing that exists as a magnetic force, and everything else does it, everything, you are that North Pole. You are the Mount Meru, which is which is, we can get into all that, this 33 on its side, and 33 degrees latitude and 33 degrees in masonry, and the 33 degrees of water after it thaws, and the 32 teeth, all of this, it's pointing to the same thing, that you are a single pole of creation. There is no such thing as duality unless you allow it. So I think we've covered just about everything here. And once again, I don't... Good luck to Cole Haley, and good luck to Andrew Norton Webber. I thought it was a little strange that Cole put him on blast like that. I haven't listened to it. But it is interesting that if he does read the Bible and forgiving and et cetera, what the Bible says to the exoteric view of the Bible, what people think it means outwardly, and what the words say, as some guy Jesus said. I don't think you'd judge someone and put them on blast like that online. But so be it. I don't judge either of them for it. I'm just giving information. There's a big difference between providing information and judging some information. So what I'm doing here, and what I'm trying to always unveil, because it's not reveal, because I'm not trying to veil something again, I'm trying to pull the veil off for everyone. And this feeds into all the information I'm trying to give. This isn't a cult. This is just information. And if you'd like to have it as part of your own internal culture, the culture of your mind, the culture of your story, because it is, whether you like it or not, come and listen to my talks here. I make no money off of this. I don't care to. But we're trying to get to atonement, which means at one mind, which feeds into a lot of these other teachings. And this is just one of the whiteboard lectures I do. Hope you all enjoyed it. And I think I covered everything for you guys about good and evil, and the sun, and duality, and how that doesn't really exist. So yeah, y'all, here, look what we got here. What's this? Get on your urine therapy. And in fact, last night, earlier in the day actually, I decided to drink some aged urine, because I'd heard some speak of this. A lot of people said don't do it. Some people were saying do it. I've done plenty of enemas with urine as well as aged urine, and they're fantastic beyond all belief. So I drank some yesterday, and my astral projection, getting out of body last night in clarity, was absolutely absurd. I was talking to people. There was no telepathy in the dream. I was actually physically in a new reality. So if we look into the alkaline acid balance of the body and what can be done to the brain, I would really suggest strongly that you might want to try it and see what happens. Aged urine, consuming it, will alkalize the body. And I mean, it's going to work just as good on the skin, if not better. But from the results I had from ingesting it, not only cleaning out my system and things that I obviously, as I've said before, I live in all the worlds. I eat food. I go out and eat pizza. I go and drink with my friends. I have a life. That doesn't mean that I don't have another life that I'm cleansing, getting out of body, finding other realms, and bringing back information for all of you So I hope you all enjoy this, and cheers.